Hello, everyone. Welcome to another evening of stamping. I'm really liking my Thursday nights. Although I got notification that Barb Mulligan was going live, and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm at the same time as Barb. But that's all right. You can always, if you are a Barb watcher, watch Barb and come back and watch me later. But I'm so excited to be with you tonight. My name is Sarah Simon. For those of you who are joining me for the first time or you found me somehow, I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I am in Appleton, Wisconsin. So, and this is Lila. She came because she heard me talking. So she figured there might be somebody here to pet me. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really, really appreciate it. I see a lot of you have said hello. I could name all of you here. Let's see. I've got Linda and Sarah and Mary and Amanda and Marva and Becky and Michelle and let's see, Kelly and Denise and Jeanne. Welcome to all of you. And others are jumping on. Julie from North Dakota. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Um, I have a pretty easy layout that I wanted to share with you tonight. And then also, I have a fun fold that I received in a swap, and I used the fold, but I have two different options for you to pick from tonight. I don't know that you want me to do both cards because it would take a while. So, what I have is I'm going to give you the DSP options and the stamp sets that go with the DSP options, and I'm going to let you vote. But the thing is, I have made both of the cards. So I will be able to show them to you. Whichever one doesn't win, I'll be able to show to you. So you'll actually see three different cards, three different suites of product with the exact same fun fold. So I'm not sure where my voice went. It was fine all day, and all of a sudden I started talking. And I feel like it's gone, like it's raspy or something. I'm not sure what that is. So, um, anyhow, let's see. I do have some happy mail to share with you. I received this beautiful card, and we're going to use some of this paper that she used. This is from Donna Deppner. She is on my team. Yeah, Debbie, today was a wonderful Wisconsin day, and she was said, thanks for making a difference in my life. And she unsigned it so that I could share it with somebody else. Isn't that sweet? So thank you so much, Donna, for that. I wanted to remind you that I do have my creative challenge still going on. You have one more week. Next week, Thursday, when I go live, I am going to be choosing the winner who is going to be getting some Stampin' Rewards gifted to them to be able to do some shopping on their own. So, in order for you to find that, first of all, if you are not on Facebook, you can email me, and I have my email address right there so that you could email me and just attach the picture so that I can see that you did the challenge. If you are on Facebook, in the featured products, okay, I think that's spam. In the featured products, if you go in, or not featured products, in the featured section, you should see where that post is. And if you click on that, it'll open it up. And then in the comments, you can add your picture. But if you can't figure out how to add a picture, that's okay. You can just send it to me. You can just email it to me, and I will take care of getting it added. So this was the card that we did. So your card has to have this layout, and the dimensions are there if you need them, but it can go this way, it can go that way. You can, I embossed, I don't know if you can see that. I did some embossing on my background. That light's bothering me. Let me go like this, and that'll take care of that a little bit. There we go. I have my fan going because it's warm here in Wisconsin. But I have a little bit of an embossed background. You can use DSP back there. You can use it plain. You can do a circle where I have this rectangle in the front. It's entirely up to you. But the last day again is going to be next week, Thursday. And I'm probably going to have to say noon. And the reason I say that is next Thursday. So I had a meeting. I double booked myself when I was supposed to get my hair cut. And so I ended up having to cancel my haircut because I had a meeting. And now it's been almost 3 weeks. Monday, it'll be 3 weeks since I was supposed to have that appointment. And I could not get into her again to get my haircut until 5 o'clock because I have to go after work. So 5 o'clock this next week, Thursday. So, but it usually only takes her a half an hour to cut my hair and blow it dry. I should be home in plenty of time, provided she's on time. If she's running late, it's going to be a little sketch. So if you could have them posted by noon, that way I can get all the names in my wheel of names before I go and get my hair cut. And then we will be ready to go. And make sure you go back and check. If you posted on Facebook, go back and check all of those comments because those cards are beautiful. All right, last week we made this card, which was a fun fold. It opened up like this. We said that you could make it into a gift card holder. I think I did make mine into a gift card holder. I think this was my original sample. Didn't I make mine? I think I made mine into a gift card holder. And then I put the little easel on the back so you can actually stand it up and display it. And then we also made this Christmas card, which you can open up and just the center opens up. So those were our cards from last week as just a reminder. And I know I have been horrible at getting pictures and getting them added in YouTube, which if you try to go back and look for something, it's really hard to find something when I don't have those pictures. I do have all of my cards. So I'm hoping to find some time. I have a team meeting this Saturday from 11 until 2. I have nothing for work on the weekend that I have to do. It's the first time in 4 weeks, I think. Yes. And then the week before that was, since Labor Day weekend, it's the first weekend I don't have something for work. So I am thrilled. But I do have my team meeting on Saturday, but then I have Sunday free and the Packers don't play until like 7:30 at night on Sunday. So I'm hoping to get a lot done. I'm waiting to get some of Kathy's cards. And if you are one of the people that comes to my card buffet, we almost have our cards done and I'll be sending those off to you so that you can vote or you can pick the cards that you want if you're going to attend. Oh, Galena, Julie, I have never been to Galena. It's a place that I've always wanted to go. I hear it's kind of like a Door County in Illinois. So, and I hope that you enjoyed your trip. All right. One thing I have to announce, let me just, I'd be remiss if I did not tell you that starting on October 1st, which is next week, Wednesday, Stampin' Up! Has the very best join special that they have ever had. It's their best starter kit offer ever. And I'm not kidding. I've been doing this for a really, really long time. And this is a great join. So you can, if you don't want to buy a lot of product, you can get just $125 worth of product but for $35. And with that, you get free shipping, you get a free paper pumpkin kit. And then if you join my team, you end up being able to come to any of my card buffets for free. I also have a team meeting quarterly where we make things and you can win prizes and do that kind of stuff. And even if you're not local, if you are on my team, I do send all of my team members the make and takes that we have, as well as any of the treats that I end up making for my team members at our get-togethers. So you get that with either of the offers, I should say. And then the other one is if like you have a really, really long wish list, or you were waiting to get that Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and you want to get it for cheaper, you can get $189 worth of products for $99. You do have to pay tax on that, but that includes the free shipping, the free paper pumpkin kit. You also get to come to all of the stuff that I do for my team as well. So it is a great join offer. I don't remember people ever getting $189 worth of product for that $99. So I just wanted to share that with you if it's something you're interested in. Then going forward, when you place your orders, you will get at least a 20% discount. Now you stay active as long as every quarter you have at least $300 in sales. So you actually have a little bit of grace period, because if you don't join at the beginning of a month, you don't have to finish that. You don't have to fill your quota, I should say, or the amount in that first quarter. So you technically would have until what, January, I think that is, right? October, November, December. Yeah. January you would start. So then by March, you would have to, between January and March, you would have to spend $300 worth of products before your discount. And if you do that, then you stay active. So it's kind of a nice perk. I know my upline Kelly always calls it a frequent shopper discount. So if you're shopping a lot and you're spending about $100 a month, you might as well get the discount and be able to take advantage of some of these other offers as well. So I just wanted to, yes, Sarah New said that is a fabulous deal. I know I joined during Celebration and it wasn't that great. And that was a long time ago. So anyhow, let's go ahead and let's get to stamping because I think that's all I wanted to talk to you about. So here we go. There's my stamping mat. I see a little bit of shadows here. Hopefully that's not going to be a problem. If it is, I'll turn my overhead light off. But I think from what I'm looking at online, it looks, I'm looking at YouTube and I'm looking at Facebook and I think it looks okay. All right. Our first card is going to be something that you could give for Thanksgiving. And it's using this autumn toile, I think that's how you pronounce it. I have no idea. Paper. And it has these beautiful trees, these boxes, pumpkins and corn and leaves and acorns. And then these pheasants, great for masculine cards or, like I said, fall cards. And then the back is probably my favorite. Look at the back. Isn't that cool? So you could mix and match some of these together, which is what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be using the back of, I think it was this one that I ended up using, and the front of this one. So we're putting these two together. That look cool. All right, so we're using this paper, and then I hadn't gotten this out yet, and I really wanted to use, this sign design. So this has different stamps that, like it's New Year's, Christmas. There's the season of thanks with the leaves. So I thought that that would be a good one for Thanksgiving. You've got trick or treat, be sweet, may your day be sweet. So you can do outlines or you can stamp greetings. And then it coordinates with this fun punch that's also called sign design. So I hadn't used this yet, so I decided to pull that out. And then I am going to, for the inside, since this is the season of thanks, I'm going to say that I'm grateful for you. So I did just pull one stamp from the Amber Autumn, which is one of the stamp sets that comes with this suite of products. Okay, Becky's like, there's no shadow. So that is good to hear. All right, let me get the paper. I got to keep the punch. I'm going to get my paper out of here and the stamp sets and bring in, here are our dimensions. And here's the colors that we're going to be using. All right, so our card base, I used Cajun Craze. I looked on the back and it said that that's what color this was in here. So this is 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. So it's just a regular A2 card. I used Early Espresso as my coordinating cardstock, and that measures 4 by 5 1/4. And then I'm going to be using 2 patterns of DSP. There's going to be one that's my center, which is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then I'm going to have 2 pieces on either end that each measure 1 by 3 3/4. So look at how easy that looks already. Oh, so those are our dimensions for this quick and easy layout. I like to use this layout when I have, like, I used this once before when I had the hexagon punch and I was able to do that. You could do it with circle dies or punches. I decided to do it with the sign design, and I decided to cut one of these in the Cajun Craze already. And I have some Very Vanilla for the inside, 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to stamp that a little bit. And then this is going to be to stamp our greeting and punch it out. I did also take a 1 3/4 inch circle punch, and I just punched out some of those pumpkins. And I'm just going to use that on the inside to bring that into the inside. Because if I did just a little strip, you really couldn't tell what it was. And so I thought, you know what, let's just cut a little circle of those pumpkins and use that for the inside. I've never done that before for the inside of a card, but I kind of liked how it turned out. All right, so we're going to stamp this, and we're going to stamp this, and we're going to set this stuff aside for right now. I'm using our Cajun Craze and our Early Espresso ink to go along with the colors that I chose. On the inside, I'm going to take that greeting that I told you I found in the Amber Autumn, Grateful for You. I'm just going to make sure it's straight. I'm going to stamp that in Early Espresso on the inside. And instead of doing it in the center, I'm going to put that little circle down here. So I thought I would put that down here. So I'm just going to test it to see if it's straight. Looks pretty straight to me. And I'm just going to stamp it down here. Look at that. That looks pretty straight, right? Close enough, right? They know it's homemade. It's not perfect, right? All right, then I'm going to start with the of thanks. I found it easier to line up the season of around or season around the F if I did that first. I'm actually going to stand up. So I've got my of thanks. And then with the Cajun Craze ink, let me get this out of here so I obviously didn't clean this last night after I was done. I still see Cajun Craze ink on here. I'm going to line this little thing right here up with that F. Oh, that looks pretty good. All right. Close this up. Get our ink out of here. And I'm going to bring that punch in. And so I'm just going to slide this in. I didn't give myself a lot of room here to hold on to it with the piece that I cut. I'm just going to line that up, center it, and then punch. All right, we have that done. And now we are going to put this card together. So I'm going to take that little circle of pumpkins and just pop that down here. And it says grateful for you, so I can write my little message to them up there. And I'll put that on the inside of our card right away. Super easy to do that. If you have a pattern, if you have a card like that, Becky, when I forget to clean my stamps, does the ink come off easily? It does, but with that being a Cajun Craze, it's going to stain it. You can kind of condition your stamps a little bit by using like a stamp cleaner, or you can put them in Versamark and stamp them off and clean them. If you put them in Versamark first, it kind of protects them a little bit from those reds and oranges where they end up staining your stamps. But they come clean. It doesn't stay on there permanently. It's just better to clean them right away. It was pretty late by the time I went to bed last night because I decided to do the 2 cards instead of the 1 card. And then I still was like, okay, now I've got to make another card though. I wanted to do something else. So then I ended up I found this layout in another card that I had a long time ago that I had left over. I like to start with putting my ends on. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to keep each of those edges about the same. And then I'm going to do the other end the same way. So I want to make sure that my leaves are kind of going in the same direction. And I want, again, to those 3 sides to have about the same distance on them. Did anyone watch The Golden Bachelor last night? Is anyone into like that? It's one of my guilty pleasures. I'm not going to lie. But one of the women who is on The Golden Bachelor is actually originally from Little Chute. My mom knows her, or she knows of her. I don't know if she knows her. She said she knew her, so I don't know if that means I know of her but crazy, right? Small world. She lives in Colorado now. Um, if you watched it, she is the one who had never been married. All of the other women had been married at some point, and she's in her 60s and had never been married. And I was like, go girl, because I'm the same way, kind of. Yep, Debbie Sievers from Little Chute. Debbie or Becky knows her well. Okay, there we go. So it's kind of interesting to not really know someone, but know that somebody's from your hometown that's on there is kind of cool. And Becky says Main Street and Little Chute. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm cutting this label that I had done in the design label. I'm cutting that in half because what I want to do is I wanted to add just a little bit of the Cajun craze. I wanted to have a little layer with it, but it doesn't come in two different sizes. So to make that, I just cut it in half. I'm actually going to use some liquid glue instead of my other adhesive because there's a little more wiggle room with that. I'm going to try to line these sides up and do this with a camera over the top of me where I can't go right inside. I mean, I can't go looking right on top or you'd see my hair. Okay, so we'll do that. And then we'll do the same thing here. Yeah, so if she wins it all, it'll be like, oh my goodness, she's originally from Little Chute, but like I said, she's lived in LA, as she said, and right now she's in Colorado. So just kind of cool that she's from my hometown though. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on this, but before we put this down, I absolutely am loving the Old Olive and the Early Espresso. So here's the Old Olive. I've got some sitting over here. The Old Olive, and then my Early Espresso somehow has, I don't know how it got cut a couple of different places, but this is linen thread. It's like our crumb cake color linen thread, but it's different colors. I love it. I think this is my third spool of the Early Espresso, and I've got 2.5 left of the Old Olive. I haven't used that as much, but I did use this on a swap, and so that's why I have so much more of this that's gone. I'm gonna make this into some big loops. Okay, and I just want to make sure that my loops they're big enough to cover that. They are. I can make them a little bit smaller. Okay, and I'm just going to go like that. I'm just going to take, usually I would use some Scotch tape. I don't have any Scotch tape sitting here. Becky, want a spoiler? Sure, we'll take a spoiler. If anybody doesn't, don't read Becky's comments. But I'm going to go ahead and set that there. And we're going to trim up these ends. Maybe you'll have to send me a text, Becky, if ever other people don't want the spoiler. All right, so there's that. And I'm just going to set that right like so. What? So easy, right? And then we have these Cajun Craze and Gold dots. Becky's going to send me a text. Okay. Oh, but Kelly wants to hear the spoiler. Michelle wants to hear the spoiler. Oh, everybody wants to hear the spoiler. So Becky, you might have to put it on there. Now that you opened it up, you may have to let us know what it is. All right, these are 3 sizes. So I'm going to put the medium-sized one down here, and I'm going to put a large one right there. And we're going to take one of these little itty bitty ones and put it right there. And there is our first card. Season of Thanks, grateful for you. That would be a beautiful Thanksgiving card, right? Oh, and Caven Upper everybody wants the spoiler. So there you go, Becky. You don't have to send in a private message. I guess you can post it. That's funny. We all can't wait, right? And I heard that Reality Steve is not giving out any details this time. If any of you are a Reality Steve follower. Hopefully I'm not going to get cut from YouTube or Facebook because I'm talking about this stuff. Okay, so there is our first card. Again, super easy layout, right? Absolutely. Oh, she doesn't go to Little Chute. So no windmill. All right, but she does make it to Hometowns. Okay, well, that's good to hear. Thanks, Becky. All right, so there is our first card. You could do this with any type of designer paper. I usually put the busier one in the center and then the one that's just more like decorative or like a pattern, geometric pattern or something like that. I usually put those along the side. And then there's usually just some sort of a focal point with a greeting and some sort of a label. So that's the first card, super easy layout, kind of fun. I'll leave that there for just a little bit. I'm going to get these stamps and stuff and this label, set it over by the paper. I did clean up just a little bit, so I actually have a room to set it, but I still have a long way to go to get it perfectly clean. All right, so there is our first card. All right, second one is our fun fold, and that's the one that you're going to get a chance to vote on what you want. So option number one, let me bring in the stamp set and let me bring in the paper. Okay, so this paper is called Modern Christmas, and the stamp set is called Ornamental Christmas. Now, this is a bundle, but I can tell you I didn't feel I needed the dies for this one. I liked the greetings. I liked the trees, but I did not feel that I needed to get the dies for this one. There's an ornament. There's some other stuff in it that was nice, but you can't get everything, right? So I was like, I like the Merry Christmas. I love the 'Tis the Season. I loved the Chew Trees. I even loved the Wishing You Peace and Joy, but I did not feel like I needed all the dies. All right, so the Modern Christmas paper, let me open this pack up so that you can see it. I'll pull it out. It has black and white and gold in it. Okay, so here's the first pattern. And on the back is our specialty. Look at that gold foil. Now, you could fussy cut out these ornaments if you wanted to. This suite of products also has those really big gold hoops. They're really big. All right, we're going to use this pattern, and we're going to use this pattern. Okay, so I used the front and the back of this one. So if you choose this suite of products, I'll show you what the other one is before you vote. Michelle, you can't get everything. She didn't get that memo. I know, it's hard, right? So here's the other one that's gold. It kind of has, can you see that gold fleck in there? And then the back is kind of like these little wavy things. So the back side of this, you really wouldn't have to, none of it really you would have to use for Christmas cards. Like this would be pretty on a wedding card, even this gold and black and white. It is very modern. Okay, that's why it's called Modern Christmas. And then we've got our fa la 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 la. And I think, is that mistletoe maybe? Maybe, I don't know. Okay, with the little berries. And then we've got black and white trees. And then black with gold stars on the other paper. Okay, so option one would use this paper, and I told you which ones I'm using. So there's 2 patterns that I'm using for each of them. So for this card, if you choose this one, it would use this pattern and then the pattern that's on the back. So it would be these 2 patterns together, and we would use this stamp set. Okay, so this is going to be my choice A. My choice B uses, pull this out. I have new packs of each of the papers because I've used so much of this paper. This is called the Traditions of Christmas, and has cherry cobbler, old olive, secret sea, white, and this also has pool party in gold. So again, on one side for these, you're going to have your very basic geometric-y type plaids, polka dots, stripes, all of that kind of stuff. Let me show you what all of those look like, and then I'll show you which of the designs I'm using so that you have an idea. So that's one side. Again, some of this stuff would not have to be Christmas. The other side is all these poinsettias and flowers. This one I do have the whole bundle. This is going to be the suite of products that Kathy Miller and I are using for our Christmas class that we always offer. The last 2 years we've done it together, where we make like a shadow box with the paper. You get like a pack of the paper. You'll get like a half a pack of gold paper to go with it. And then you get like the ribbon that goes with it. You get the gems that go with it. The gems are my favorite. And then the stamp set that I'm using with this is not the one from here. So I'm using, for this card, I used Festive Friends, and I'm going to use the little snowman. And the paper that I used from here is this one and this one together. Okay, so option 1, so you can vote. Which one would you like to see done in this fun fold? Option 1 is the Modern Christmas. Whoops, didn't mean to pull my camera there. Modern Christmas with the ornamental Christmas stamp set. Or do you want to see the Traditions of Christmas with our Festive Friends? So A or B you're voting on. Okay, A is the first one, B is the second one. And I am going to show you. I usually don't like to give you a sneak peek of the card, but while we're waiting for everyone to vote, I will go ahead and show you. Get these out of the way. Should have somebody counting up my votes for me, because I'm the only one that can do it because I'm on both platforms. But the very talented Jay Shante made this card, and it was in a swap that I was in with Painterly Pears, and it opens like this. So I've done it where it opens on one side, but this folds on both sides. Normally this went to the end and this side folded back. This one has 2 sides that fold back, and then it opens. Isn't that amazing? So when I got this, I was like, oh, I have to use this. So last night when I was playing around, I had a couple of sweets that I haven't used yet. I hadn't used that Modern Christmas. Well, I did a card for my card buffet, and I did the Santa Claus thing as a gift card holder in my card buffet. And so I just kind of used some of the stuff that I had done in those cards and put it into this format. So let me count up. I'm going to count up. So my last person that voted was Marla. Okay, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 A's, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 B's, 8 B's and 11 A's. So it looks like it's going to be A, which is the modern Christmas. And I just got another vote for A. So we're going to do A. I will show you B when we're completely done so that you can still see that because I want you to be able to see it. Now, there are two different sets of directions here. One is if you do it like Jay did. So if you look closely at what Jay did, she ended up taking each of her designer series paper and she matted it on a cardstock that coordinated with the color background that she had. Okay, that's A. That's not the way we're going to do ours tonight. But if you like that, and I'll show you in the one with the Santa Claus, I ended up doing it this way. So I'll show you what that looks like. But that's going to be the one with the mats. Okay, so those are those directions. If you want to, I'll put this out there when I have the cards done and I'll put them all out there for you as well. Okay, the cards without the mat is what we're going to be making. So I'm going to grab my stuff that I have here. And this is our card base. I used basic black for the card base. All right, and this is 8.5 by 5.5. So it's just a half a sheet of paper. I scored it at 1 1/4, at 4 1/4, and at 7 1/4. Okay, at your 4 1/4, you're going to fold it in half like you normally do. And then you're going to fold this side back this way. And you're going to fold the other side back that way and just give that a good burnish. Okay, it's not really going to stay that way. It's going to come out like this, but that is how you fold it. So fold it in half. And then the front piece goes back the other way, and this one goes back the opposite. They each go back kind of the opposite way. Okay, so that's my card base. I didn't have any mats. So what were my mat dimensions up here are really my DSP dimensions down here. So I've got two of them that measure 1 inch by 5 1/4. And I'm doing this pattern and I'm doing this pattern. Okay, so they're going to kind of go like that. All right. Then I'm going to have two pieces that are 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. And I used this. One of them is going to go in here and the other one is going to go inside of there. Okay. And then I have my inside layer that I did some embossing on already because I didn't want you to have to do my heat tool. So I used the star that was in that set. And I just stamped it a couple of times with Versamark and added gold embossing powder. That is going to be for this inside layer right here. And we're going to stamp something else on there as well. Okay, so those are my layers. Now, I used, like Jay did, I used these textured notes dies. And I did one in black. But how she did another textured note that was smaller, I instead cut out a piece of basic white. And this piece is 2 3/8 inch by 3 7/8 if you're looking to recreate this. And that will fit in perfectly inside and you'll still be able to see the little patterns. I don't know if you can see those patterns, but there are patterns there. You'll be able to see those patterns on there. Now, I already stamped this and embossed this, so you didn't have to wait with my heat tool for me to do this, but this is one of the trees from the stamp set. Let me grab. Okay, so here's the star that I stamped on the inside. Here's the tree that I stamped already and did with Versamark and put my gold powder on. We're going to use these two greetings, one for the inside and one for the outside. All right, so I have, let me grab. I did have my gold embossing powder here, but I decided when I got home from work today that it would probably just be easier if I had that done than having to do it because I don't have my heat tool here. It's over there, and to try to plug it in and stuff is just kind of a mess where I'm sitting. All right. I'm going to grab my Memento ink. So I put this up towards the top. And it does just kind of barely fit on there. So you want to get it up pretty close to the top. And I'm inking up the 'Tis the Season with the black and the gold. I thought it would be nice to have the greeting in black. and then the stamp in gold. And I'm hoping I get this straight. Oh, not at all. And I got this on. So you know what? We're going to do this over anyway. And I'm going to have to, I'll just have to run and emboss. Let me cut another piece. I did not do a very good job with that. I didn't stamp it first on my, I had to get some white. I did not stamp it first on my grid paper, which is probably what caused the problem. Let me get that cut. So 2 3/8 by 3 7/8. So you're going to get to see me do the embossing after all. We want to have a good looking card, right? I do have one that looks very, very nice that's sitting here, but I want you to see me make one that looks nice so you know for sure that I made it. Let's see here. Here it is. Here's my tree. Let me grab my embossing buddy and just kind of wipe that down a little bit so I don't get gold speckles everywhere. And goodness, I have things all kind of over because I was like, what if I do this one? What if I do that one? Versamark. Here it is. I needed it for either card. Both cards used Versamark. So, all right, let's go ahead and ink this up. I'm going to stamp it towards the top. Now, sometimes with these red rubber ink or stamps, they're going away. Remember, at the beginning of the year, we're only going to have the photopolymer. But sometimes you want to be careful because you can get ink around the edges and you can get those halos. If there's too much rubber, sometimes I just take a scissors and I cut some of the excess rubber off so that I don't constantly have halos in the same spot. And I might have do that with this 'Tis the Season. I didn't have that stamp that I used before making this card last night, so I hadn't cut that off. All right, let me see here. I think I might have an extra heat tool that I can pull out. I do not. I'm going to run and heat this up real quick. I'll be back, I promise. All right, I'm back. My heat tool is actually in my kitchen right now. Don't ask me why. It just never got put away. All right, we're going to ink this up. I'm going to line it up and see if it's straight. Okay, it looks straight. So I just have to line this up. So that means it's not on my block straight, or my label isn't on it straight, but it is on my block straight. So if I have this lined up, actually, let's line it up here. And I hold this straight. There we go. I have a little bit, but I can get rid of that. All right, while I have that out, thank you for your patience. Doesn't look like much yet, but we will get it to look like more. we are going to take this and we are going to put the Merry Christmas. Now, I didn't exactly know where to put those stars. I can see I don't have any around there, so I don't have to worry about halos. I did a good job of inking this up and not getting stuff around the edge. I don't think I have anything on the edge. Sometimes I'll just take like a baby wipe or something if I do. I'm going to stick this Merry Christmas around those stars. Oh, there we go. Just saw you on here. Oh, okay. I don't know. Oh, Becky, my cards are not all perfect. There's always little mistakes. I know where they are. I sometimes cover them up with gems. I cover them up with all kinds of things. All right, so that's our inside greeting. And I think we're ready to put this together. So this is going to go on this layer here. Did I grab the right one? I did. All right, and I have this little bit of ink here. This is Sand Eraser. I just get mine on Amazon. I get a whole bunch of them together because I have them at my classes then in case anybody has a boo-boo. And you just kind of can at least make it look a little less obvious. And it just sands away the ink that's there and gets rid of that spot for you. Okay, let's put this together like I said. So we're going to put this piece on the right side with this facing up. We're going to put the polka dotted one in the middle. Like that. And then we have two of these. I should have two of them. Oh yeah, the other one's on the inside. Okay, good. One of them is going to go here. What just fell? Must have knocked something when I was there before, and it just all of a sudden was hanging on and just decided to fall. Okay, so that goes there. And then this piece is going to go on the left side on the inside, like so. And then this Merry Christmas, where I can sign it and write just a little bit, is going to go on this side. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like from the outside, and then it opens up like this. All right, this is going to go on here, and I'm just going to put seal down the center. And this isn't going to be centered. It's going to be centered on the centerpiece that's here, but it's not going to be centered on the whole front. So it is going to be over to the right just a tad bit so that it's centered on here. And now we have to gem this up. So let's start with this gold striped ribbon, which my favorite. First of all, it makes beautiful bows. Secondly, it just sparkles on a card. It gives you definitely that wow factor. And I feel like this ribbon was meant to go with this bundle of products. All right, we're going to trim this off there and there. And I'm just going to, that's going to be the top of my tree, and I might even make it a little bit smaller yet. There we go. Now you could do this with a bow maker if you wanted to, but this is one of those ribbons where I don't always feel like I need a bow maker. I got cards in my swap, Julie, from with this, with this designer paper. I had gotten the designer paper, but I did not get the stamp set. I did not get the dies. I'm like, I'll just get the paper because, I could use the backside for wedding cards even. And then I started getting swaps and I started seeing things online and I'm like, oh man, here we go again, right? Here we go again. And so I got the stamp set. I got another pack of the paper because I had used some and I knew I was going to need it for my card buffet because I have a feeling a lot of people are probably going to pick this card. And then there's really two options. I don't know where my gems went. Let's see if they're... I had everything sitting over here. Oh, here they are. They just got mixed in with the other ones that were bigger. There are these beautiful, they're called flower accents, and the little ones look beautiful on here. But notice how few of these are in the pack, and you really probably don't want the big ones. You could maybe put a couple of big ones on, I don't know. Your other option would be, we have these loose gold sequins, and you could put, there's different sizes of that, and you could put some of the smaller ones on there. I think I'm going to do the flower accents just because I love them. I just think they're so, so pretty. And wait till you see what it does to this tree. It's like it goes from being, it's okay, to being, wow, that is gorgeous. Whoops. So we'll start up here and we're just going to put these on in random places. I like to put an odd number. I felt that 3 wasn't enough, so I ended up putting 5 on. Like I said, you could find a cheaper gem and like the sequence, there's a ton of those in there. So you could really use those. And I don't want to say that this looked better because I didn't even try the sequins. But when I saw this, it was on a card that I got. I was like, oh my goodness, that is absolutely, look at that. So 'tis the season. Merry Christmas. And then it goes back together again. So Jay, oh my goodness, loved your card. Had to remake it. Needed to use the fold, but I decided I needed to try something else. So we used this modern Christmas paper. So this is the first one. So again, here was Jay's. Okay, notice how she had a mat here. So then here was mine. This is the one that I did last night. Here's the little Santa Claus one. Instead of doing this type of label, I did a circle instead. Can you see look at that? I put some Wink of Stella on these trees in the background so that they sparkle. It looks like they have tinsel on them. And then I also put it on his hat for his little tassel and here and along the bottom. So Santa's coming to town. We wish you a Merry Christmas. So this one I layered, it's cherry cobbler, and I used Secret Sea as my layer and used that Traditions of Christmas paper. And then this is just a stylish shape. This is the largest circle of the stylish shapes. This is from the Spotlight on Nature dies, the one that kind of looks like the bottom of a can. And then I stamped in, this is colored in cherry cobbler, the black, and then the ivory color. And then I took a little bit of light Flirty Flamingo to give him a little red nose. Probably could do that on his mouth too. But that was the second one. So those of you that wanted choice B, you at least get a chance to see choice B. All right, let's see if I can get these all on here. So we've got 1, 2. Let me take this out of here, this purple thing. There we go. Let's see. So we've got 1, 2, and these used the Tradition of Christmas, those little sequins, which there's gold in there too, so you could probably use the smaller ones on there too. Okay, so I've got all of the cards here, and then here are the dimensions. Might have to go like this. There we go. Can you still see all of those? Yeah, card with the mats. So these are the two that have the card with the mats. This is the one that does not have the mat. So if you wanted to take a picture so that you have the dimensions of that fold, I just loved the fold. Okay, so now that they're done, you've got 3 of them here. I love Jay's. I think it's beautiful. Of the 2 Christmas ones, which one did you end up liking better? Do you like the modern Christmas, or do you like the Christmas tradition of Christmas along with the little Santa Claus on there? See, I like to do cards that usually are the true meaning of Christmas. And I tend to shy away from Santa Claus, but I just thought he was so cute. So I'll show you my swap card that went out in the mail. This took me, let's see, I started at 9:30 on Saturday morning, and I finished at about 1:45. And I had it designed already. That was just making it. So this is going to be in my card buffet. It's a gift card holder. So we did the gift card that had the sunflowers on it. And that's what this is. So it opens up like this to put a gift card. Right here's where your gift card would go. I always have my Ulta gift card that's already been used here. Okay, so that goes in there, closes back up. So I made 22 of these. Actually, I made 23 because I have my 2 samples here for my card buffet, and I had to put 21 of them in the mail. So, okay, so love the modern Christmas, obsessed with the DSP. Yep, A. You like the modern one now. Modern, modern, modern. Look at that. A lot of modern Christmas. Yeah, I too was not completely sold on this until I got some samples, and I just love it. All right, so those are our cards for today. Let me see where my mouse is. I think I just have to click it. There we go. Here I am. So thank you so much for joining me. One last reminder, this little card challenge, creative challenge, is going on until next week, Thursday. So by noon next week, Thursday, either post a picture of your card or email it to me and I'll post it for you so that you can get entered into the drawing to win some Stampin' Rewards so that you can pick out whatever you want and have it delivered to your house. So that way, if you want to you don't want to get a bundle and you want to just get a whole bunch of stuff that maybe is on last chance and is really cheap, and you want to get a bunch of gems or anything like that, or ribbon, you can choose what you want, and it doesn't have to be a bundle. It can be whatever you want. And if you're a demonstrator and you win, you still get your discount. So that's kind of nice as well. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I got that done in less than an hour. We made 2 cards, and I messed up and we had to remake something. So we did pretty good. If you're on my team, I will see you on Saturday. I'm excited to be able to spend a little time with you and pamper you a little bit and share our love of stamping together. If you'd like to be a member join my team, remember that starts on October 1st, that awesome special. And we would welcome you on to my team, whether you're local or you're from afar. We do get together in person. I don't record when we get together in person, but I do send you everything that I give them. So you do still get everything. So thank you guys so much, and have a great Friday and weekend. And I will see you next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.